Day 17. Words on a page? In chapter 2 of his letter to Titus, the Apostle Paul challenges him to teach young men to live wisely. He says the best way to do this is to be consistent in his teaching. As a preacher of the gospel of Christ, Titus has the responsibility to help his church discern the difference between right and wrong, good and bad, and to live a life that pleases God. In this instructive letter, Paul urges Titus to do himself what he directs others to do. Paul's hope is that Titus's daily life will reflect the actions, values, and principles he speaks of when they gather for meetings. The apostle says the same thing in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. As a prisoner for the Lord, then, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. If this is our calling, to lead lives of integrity, how then do we do this in today's society? Eugene Peterson's The Message provides an answer. In Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1 to 2, he writes, "Watch what God does, and then you do it, like children who learn proper behavior from their parents. Mostly what God does is love you. Keep company with him and learn a life of love. Observe how Christ loved us. His love was not cautious, but extravagant. He didn't love in order to get something from us, but to give everything of himself to us. Love like that." In other words, Christ's love isn't selfish. Jesus doesn't love us because he has ulterior motives. He doesn't keep track of all the wonderful things he does for us, so he can call up a favor later on as if to say, "Remember that time I helped you get good marks in 7th grade? Now that you have your driver's license, I want you to return the favor by driving seniors to and from the grocery store every Saturday." He may want you to do that, but not because you owe him a favor. It may be that you enjoy helping people and have the biggest smile when around seniors. Doing good for them puts those passions to use. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 3 warns us to be careful how we love. If we don't pay attention to our desires and our intentions for loving others, our love can quickly turn sour. The next verse tells us to watch what comes out of our mouth. Gossip, obscene and indecent language should not pass our lips. Lies, swearing, and hurtful gossip have no place in the church. People outside the church do this all the time. If we think, talk, and act like the gospel doesn't impact our lives, then what's the point of reading your Bible or even gracing the doors of a church? The point that Paul is trying to make to Titus is that his life comes under more scrutiny than most. People are watching him during the week to see if there's any value in what he says during church services. Behaving in a way that pleases Christ goes a lot further than just telling people how to live like him. When we think, act, and speak like Jesus would have, it makes Jesus real to those around us. To people outside the church, Jesus becomes more than words on a page in an old book. Mimicking the behaviors and attitudes of Christ validates what we say about him. And let me finish by challenging you in the same way Paul challenged Titus. Validate the gospel. Make Jesus real to the world around you. Be available to help others experience Christ. Expose them to the gospel that is alive and flowing through your veins. This way, those beyond the church walls will be attracted to a living Christ who is far more than just words on a page. For the word that God speaks is alive and full of power, making it active, operative, energizing, and effective. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12 in the Amplified Bible.